from around the globe. It's theCUBE, with coverage of SUSECON Digital. Brought to you by SUSE.
Welcome back. I'm Stu Miniman, and this is theCUBE's coverage of SUSECON Digital 20. Happy to welcome to the program Vicente Moranta, who is the Vice President of Offer Management of Enterprise Linux Workloads on Power. Vicente, pleasure to see you. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Stu. Thank you for having me.
All right, so we know that SUSE lives on a lot of platforms. We're going to talk a bit about applications specifically, primarily SAP. Give us a little bit, Vicente, about what you're working on and the relevance to the partnership with SUSE.
Sure, absolutely. So for the last 5 years, I've been responsible for offering management at IBM, focused on solutions that live on IBM Power Systems. In particular, we started with SAP HANA, and obviously SAP and SUSE, with their fantastic relationship, kind of was a big part of that, and continues to be as we have grown the platform for the last 5 years.
Excellent. So yeah, I mean, SAP, of course, critical workload. We've been seeing SAP go through this transformation. So help us understand, what work needs to be done to integrate these things, make sure that companies can run their business.
Yeah, I think the primarily as clients are they're making their transition from a traditional type of an ERP, CRM, and even BW type of workloads. They're looking for a way to make those transitions, really get into the whole digital transformation and all of the spaces of being able to leverage technology in a way that creates value for the client in almost real time. But they want to do it with technology partners that are going to enable the client to do it with minimal risk, with high flexibility, and with partners that are there for them to kind of, in some cases, do things that are not necessarily all supported or ready to go yet, but really giving the customer the ability to adapt to things. And when we started with SAP HANA, as I mentioned, the customers in the market who were doing HANA on x86 platforms were limited to certain set of capabilities, certain set of support statements and things like that. And a big part of that was bare metal implementations, which still to this day kind of remain the most popular way to deploy HANA in an x86 environment. But when we got together with SUSE and with SAP and we started the partnership around HANA, the thing that became very clear was that customers needed flexibility. They needed to be able to adapt to changing environments, changing very interesting challenges that they were trying to tackle with these HANA projects. But the capabilities of the servers that they were using were not allowing them to have that flexibility. And then, even if SUSE was trying to do certain things and give some flexibility to those clients, if the infrastructure cannot handle it or vice versa, it's really just kind of a one party trick, and it doesn't work. So the focus with SUSE almost from the beginning has been on co-innovation. And we've been able to accomplish really amazing things together with them in SAP, things that just could not have been possible without that very strong collaboration. And one of them that is very recent is shared processor pools, right? In a world where HANA is deployed bare metal systems, IBM Power is always doing virtualization. And together with SUSE, we were able to come up with a solution, and with SAP, obviously, that allow customers to share cores in a virtual way across many HANA instances. So completely revolutionizing the TCO and the ROI for clients who are doing HANA without trading off any of the resiliency, any of the performance, and everything else. So that's the balance, I think, that a lot of these customers are looking for, is flexibility and better returns, especially now more than ever, without trading off all of the things that they need for an S/4HANA project or an ERP or a BW project.
Yeah, you talked about the flexibility and the returns that customers get on this. I wonder if you step back for a second. Where is this hitting on a CIO's priority list? What has changed in today's cloud era? Couple weeks ago, IBM Think was going on. Heard a lot about customers, how they're going through their journey in the cloud. We know there's a lot of
Yeah.
options there. So, SAP solutions specifically, there's a lot of ways that we can do this. So how does a CIO, figure out, what's the best solution for their skill set and the technology partners that they work with?
Yeah, I think at a high level, what the CIOs are facing nowadays is kind of it's a good time to be a CIO, I think, because you get a chance to have a broad range of deployment options without having to trade off on the feature. You know, I'm sure some CIOs will disagree and will say there's plenty of other challenges that are making their life complicated. But if we just focus on, the fact that you can deploy HANA, you can deploy it in the cloud, you can deploy it in hybrid modes, you can deploy it on premises, and to large extent, and especially with our capabilities and together with SUSE, the CIO doesn't have to make a choice on trade-off of things that they have to lose if they make one or the other. I think that is what helps them to feel comfortable about going to SAP and being able to adapt. If a project becomes too large or the data transfer requirements become complicated or too expensive, it's easy enough to bring it back and to maybe leave dev test in a cloud or and move the rest of the production environment to on-premises. But through a number of partnerships that we have done over the last few years, there's a number of very large MSPs and CSPs, including SAP HANA Enterprise Cloud, HEC, and very soon IBM Cloud as well, who can provide all of these capabilities that SUSE and IBM and Empower allow for a HANA deployment to be done in a cloud. So from our perspective, even though I'm a hardware guy and some people may think I only care about on-premises business, the reality is, when a customer says, or a CIO, as you were asking, when a CIO is trying to make a decision, we don't want that CIO to be thinking they have to make a decision between IBM supporting them only if it's on premises or only if it's on cloud. We can do both, and they don't have to do, it's not a hard trade-off to decide. You can start with one, you can go to the other one. We can have capacity for them like we're doing with SAP HEC today, SAP HANA Enterprise Cloud. They're using Power 9 technology. The customer is benefiting regardless of which deployment option they choose, both with SUSE underneath it. So I think we're trying to make it simpler for them to make those choices without infrastructure becoming the sticky point.
Yeah, and you talked about the support that users can get, of course, from IBM. At SUSECON, a lot of discussion about the community there. So,
Absolutely.
What can you tell us about, you've got thousands of customers that are running, SAP HANA on Power. How do you help them rally together and be part of it?
Yeah, so you and I have known each other for a while, and I think when we started working together at a prior company, it was around communities of practice and the organizational network and social network. A big part of what we have done is just kind of go into that same approach of just connecting people with people, right? Connecting people from SUSE with people from IBM, with clients, and trying to foster valuable interaction between those clients, whether it's at TechU, IBM TechU conferences, SAP TechEd, SUSECON, you name it. We're always kind of looking for ways to bring people together, and I'll put in a plug for a client entity, a client council called the SAP Power Customer Council, which is a group of clients that decided on their own to get together and bring bring other customers who are doing SAP deployments on AIX, on Linux, obviously with SUSE and HANA, and come together once a year. We also kind of have almost monthly interlock and workshops with them. But that is one way where the SUSE folk, IBM Power, SAP development all come together with a whole bunch of clients, and they're giving us feedback, but also identifying things for us to work on next. From a support perspective, as you said, we have thousands of clients nowadays, and the really fantastic thing has been very few issues, and the issues that we have had, SUSE, SAP, and IBM, all three of us together, have been able to resolve them to the customer satisfaction. So, it just kind of demonstrates that, regardless of, where something is invented, SUSE with SLES, SAP with HANA, us with our hardware and our hypervisors, when it comes to the clients, we all work very closely together to their success.
Great. Those feedback loops are so critically important to everyone involved. I guess last thing, maybe if you've got a customer example that might highlight the partnership between IBM and SUSE. Yeah,
there's a number of them, and we have I think it's over 60 public references together with SUSE of clients who are doing SAP HANA with SUSE on Power. But a couple of that come to mind. Obviously, Robert Bosch is a fantastic client for all of us, a fantastic partner, and they've been with us almost from the very beginning, together with SUSE and together with us, and they helped us to identify early on some things that they would like to be able to see supported, some capabilities that they expected to be able to have, especially given that Bosch had a strong knowledge of IBM technology, IBM product, and they wanted to be able to apply some of the same capabilities around live partition mobility and large size LPARs for HANA and things like that. And they worked very closely with SUSE and with us and with SAP to not just give us the requirement, but really help us to identify, okay, how should this work, right? It's not just creating the technology and adding more feature, but how do we integrate it? How do we integrate it into Bosch, who had created a fantastic self-provisioning type of a portal for all of their clients, all of their internal entities around the world. That was really cool, and it really kind of helped us to highlight how we could integrate into tools, monitoring, reporting, etc., that our clients have. Another example, if I can, is Richemont. Richemont International is based in Geneva, luxury brand, and Helge Tautorat, who was the director of IT at the time, kind of came to me and gave me a challenge. He said, "Look, I love HANA on Power. I love that we can do all of these things with it, but I really would like to be able to share processors across multiple HANA instances. That would really reduce the bill. It would really reduce the cost, and we would, Richemont would be able to achieve a much quicker return on investment than we had anticipated." So he gave us the challenge. The challenge went to everybody. Went to SUSE, to us, and to SAP. We all got together. And again, with Helge being the executive sponsor on the client side, he really kind of worked with all of us, brought us together, and it was an art of the possible type of situation that now is generally available to all clients. And it is thanks to Helge, thanks to Richemont, who kind of brought us together and gave us that challenge.
Excellent. Well, Vicente, Moranta, great to catch up with you. Thanks so much for sharing the updates on Power and partnership.
Thanks, Sue.
All right, we'll be back with more coverage from SUSECON Digital 20. I'm Stu Miniman, and as always, thank you for watching theCUBE.